Here's the real takeaway from the election of Scott Brown. If the far right disagrees with it, it's a lie. The latest is from an assistant editorial page editor at the Dallas Morning News named Michael Landauer, who writes that I, quote, smeared Brown all night, sort of correcting the record in one rant, dismissing the responses to lies he had told earlier, and coming back with more name-calling. Mr. Landauer is writing on the internet and thus, in theory, has an infinite amount of space and time to fill. That was it. No refutations, no specifics, just the word lies, as if designating them were Mr. Landauer's exclusive right. I said Mr. Brown was irresponsible. Specifically, he swore at a hall full of high school students in 2007. Last night, he paraded his daughters out and told the nation they were, quote, available. I said Mr. Brown was homophobic. Specifically, in 2001, he said that two women having a baby together was, quote, not normal. And in 2007, he voted for a constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage. I said Mr. Brown was racist. Specifically, in September 2008, a fellow guest in a TV interview noted Barack Obama's mother was married when he was born. Mr. Brown returned to the oldest racial stereotype of them all when he said, quote, well, I don't know about that, ha. I said Mr. Brown was reactionary. Specifically, that is defined as extreme conservatism opposing political or social change. I said Mr. Brown was an ex-nude model, specifically in the June 1982 issue of Cosmopolitan magazine. I said Mr. Brown was sexist. Specifically, 9 years ago, he said a woman Massachusetts state senator had, quote, alleged family responsibilities. I said Mr. Brown was teabagging. Specifically, as recently as the 2nd of this month, Mr. Brown was the star of a fundraiser with the Greater Boston Tea Party group at Westboro, Mass. And I said Mr. Brown was a supporter of violence against women and against politicians with whom he disagrees. Specifically this past Sunday, when a man at a Brown rally shouted they should, quote, shove a curling iron up Martha Coakley's butt, Brown responded by answering, we can do this. Or, if that remark was unconnected to the shout, he never refuted, condemned, nor disassociated himself from the call to violence and even sexual assault. Scott Brown is an irresponsible, homophobic, racist, reactionary, sexist, ex-nude model, teabagging supporter of violence against women and against politicians with whom he disagrees. And all the rabid right-wing howling about that only helps prove it. The response to lies is to offer the truth. The response to truths you don't like is to simply call them lies.